Uganda Chinyuma, like the statement always gets. And I want to once again ask you, what is beautiful about Uganda? Church Kunyumira, about Uganda. We're not just playing those songs for the fun of it, but also as a reminder of the fact that 63 years down the road, yes, we have challenges, but yes, we have been here with self-rule for 63 years. And that is why this very morning, I am definitely very delighted to be seated in between two veteran politicians, but also on my right, I do have a veteran politician himself, Waswa Lule, and that name rings a bell, of course, especially at such a point in time when we're talking about Uganda's independence. Allow me to say a very good morning to you, and thank you for coming through.
And good morning to you, and welcome back from your recent short holiday.
Thank you so much, Mr. Waswalule. And of course, on my left, I also do have none other than the Senior Presidential Advisor on Mobilization, that is Mr. Kawamara Meshach. It's a pleasure having you, and a good morning.
Pleasure meeting you here, Mildred. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning to you, and definitely looking at them, we'll be walking down memory lane, looking at the evolution, especially politically, the evolution of Uganda, what has gone right and what seems to be things that we can be able to work on. I wouldn't say what has gone wrong, but things that still need to be looked at. And especially during this period when we are in a politically tensed up period, we are in the presidential campaigns. The members of parliament will be nominated at the end of the day as well. And 2026 will be bringing us yet another conversation when it comes to political transitions, albeit being from the same party, we would say, that we've had over the last 40 years. Will it be any different? Maybe not, maybe yes, but that's a conversation that we'll be getting into. I want to also give you some images that are coming in straight from Kololo Independence Grounds, where we're going to be celebrating our 63rd independence anniversary. And right there, you can see all is getting set. We expect President Yoweri Museveni, remembering well that even if he is a candidate, he is still the incumbent. So President Yoweri Museveni will be coming through in not too long from now to inspect the parade, inspect the guard of honor that will be mounted later on, but also be able to take us through a conversation of the 63 years of independence. What does it mean? And actually looking at the 63 years of independence, the government of President Yoweri Museveni has taken more than half of that time in leadership at the helm of the country. What is it that Ugandans need to be paying specific attention to later on today? So you can see all is being set. The school children getting ready. I mean, this takes me back down memory lane. I mean, for independence celebrations, you would be expecting to join the parade and do the goose march and, you know, just be excited to sing for the guests who are coming. And that is still a norm that is carried forward right there. We will be giving you the details at a later stage. But right now, allow me engage in this conversation of whether the country has actually lived up to the democratic ideals that were envisaged at independence. That night, on 9th of October 1962, when the Union Jack was lowered and the Ugandan flag was actually hoisted. And I'd like to start with you, Mr. Waswalule. In a nutshell, on a broader perspective, as we get to dig deeper later, what do you think about what Uganda espoused at independence on 9th of October and what actually is currently happening as is?
Well, at one time, when you're evaluating a country, it's all about the economy. How you can participate in the economy, whether through employment or creating productivity. So everything that we look at goes around the economy.
Okay.
So what have we achieved? I think the voters out there, each one where they are, know. Yeah, if you go to people in business earlier this year, they were, I'll pick out the negative items where people were feeling that they're not doing very well. There was this question of taxation, where businesses were complaining about the electronic
Fiscal Receipting and Investing System, the EFRIS.
Thank you very much. So I actually participated in the debate. I was advising one of these worker unions, and I even gave some advice as to how there could be an improvement. But it seems like the advice has been ignored. I'll give you an example, because how people, as you said, participate in the economy does affect them.
Okay.
Businessmen go and get loans and start their business. Then when they go to buy goods and services, they pay VAT. But remember, you're paying VAT, you're paying it in advance, handing it over to somebody else, who then uses it for 1 month and interest-free. I think this is particularly prohibitive if you take a business and you take away 15% of their working capital and you give it to some other individual who's got a much wider capital base. I think if that improvement, that could be changed, especially if the transactions are all being recorded. You'd have the small businessman would feel more comfortable, they'd make more profit, the government would get more revenue, and even more votes as we're in a voting period. So that's a good example where you can have an improvement in the structure of the economy, and people would benefit, and the country would benefit, even the government would benefit.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Osolole looks at it in the economic perspective. I'm wondering to you, Mr. Kamara, when you do a snapshot of the 63 years of independence, what would you say about our status?
Thank you very much, Mildred. We are, as a country, we are very unfortunate because after independence, Uganda was mad with turmoil, insecurity, civil wars. So the first 30 to 40 years, Ugandans didn't enjoy the independence we are talking about, because immediately after 1962, we had uprising in the country. We remember 1966, what happened, the Luviro was attacked. Then kingdoms were abolished in 1967. There was insecurity now. Then Amin came in, excuse me, in 1971 for 8 years. That was wasted time, insecurity again. Then 1981, Obote comes back in 1980, insecurity in the country. So you can count from 1966 up to 1986. Those 20 years were wasted. Then when NRA and NRM took over, we had also some internal conflicts, civil wars. Northern Uganda, the Conis, the Lakwenas, and other rebel groups. You remember the Moses Alis, UNLF2, Bamose. Then you remember in the east, we had FOBA, Force Obote back. In the west, in the Rezoris, we had the NALU, then ADF. So we had almost another 20 years wasted with battles, with wars, with insecurity. I remember in the 1980s, we wouldn't move freely in this country. For us from Toro, from Fopoto, we wouldn't use Mubende Road. Okay. We would go through Kasese, use a train or an aeroplane to Kampala. But there was insecurity. You wouldn't move free in this country. You wouldn't go to the north during colonial time. So we are not independent as should have been. But I'm happy to inform the viewers that now we can say Uganda is independent, because you can brave from here to Gulu, you can brave to Lera, you can go to West Nile, you can go to Moroto, go to Kisoro, move to Busia, to Kasese freely. No roadblock, no interference. So I think we can now realize the meaning of independence. Uganda is now independent. Of course, Honorable Wasalole was talking about economy. That's true. There have been some issues with our economy, but now you can see in our economy. You remember your man from your place, Honorable Matia Kasaija, said that the economy is like that. So I can also say that the economy is rising. You know the example of an aeroplane which he used.
Yeah, it's taking off.
Taking off. So We were not just about to take off, we have taken off. The only problem that we have not yet stabilized. You know, a plane, when it goes in the air, you can...